Hello and welcome to the first episode of The Golden Seams. My name is Gabe, and I'm here with Michelle to talk about the community that we're starting.
Hi, everyone. We decided that we would actually start this originally because we wanted to help people find a way to bridge their authentic or their true paths with prosperity and creating that in their lives. And that's where it originated from. And it's based on the Golden Seams, which is based on a theme of wabi sabi, profound Japanese aesthetic concept that embraces the beauty of imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. And it's a philosophy that's deeply rooted in Zen Buddhism, but it's a very contrasting difference to Western ideals of perfection and symmetry. The origins of the meaning of the term wabi sabi, wabi actually has evolved to represent the spiritual richness found in simplicity and the appreciation of natural imperfections, while sabi refers to the beauty that emerges as objects age and develop a patina over time, reflecting their history and character. Together, Wabi Sabi embodies a worldview that finds beauty in the modest, rustic, and imperfect aspects of life. And so that's where we begin with what we're talking about with the Golden Seams. Just to give further reference, this was written by my daughter when she was in high school, and it's actually on the Golden Seams website, thegoldenseams.com. In Japan, when a ceramic gets broken, it is seen as something beautiful as it has reverted back to its authentic natural state. In putting the pieces back together, they are joined with gold, which is referred to as kintsugi. When we get broken down, it is a chance for us to observe who we truly are without the masks or molds we have been forced into, allowing us to discover ourselves in our own natural perfection. Whatever negative experiences have broken our spirit, we can begin to artfully put those pieces back together, filling the cracks with gold, embracing the beauty of ourselves.
That's beautiful. I really resonate with the idea of finding wholeness through difficulties and being reminded that there's strength and healing to come, even in the darkest moments that life can bring. And I was really inspired by what Isabella wrote, reminded me of some of my own challenges and how I'm always looking for new ways to bring the pieces, find the pieces, and move forward.
And I agree with that completely. It's once we start to put those pieces back together in a way that makes sense for us, we find that wholeness. It's through that that we actually heal, in my experience and what I understand. That's where we begin with everyone. And we thank you all for being here and for listening. We also want to talk to you about the different levels of people that can become members through the Patreon. There's two levels. There's the Golden Alchemist level and there's the Kintsugi Path.
The Kintsugi Path is the first level of membership where people will join us each month as we explore concepts and ideas that can aid in our healing through the contents of very specially curated books. And as we follow along together, we will also be introduced to tools with audios to work on custom mandalas. And each month we will be meeting with everyday people doing extraordinary things and having some insightful interviews with them to learn more about how they're finding and joining their own pieces to hopefully grow faster and better together.
Exactly, Gabe. And so, what we want to do, we call that the mastermind memoir, and we're going to bring in individuals who literally are just everyday people like you and me who are doing extraordinary things. They have created an expertise in some specific field, and we want to connect you with these individuals and we want to have them on this platform so that you can reach them and they can reach you and you can learn from them. And you can also see how people are stepping into an authentic path and also creating prosperity through that as well. We'll be bringing in people based on the themes of the books that we will be reviewing each month. We welcome you to get the books that we are going to be reading and to help support you in this. The books that we choose are based specifically on what we have found truths and valuable solutions and insights for our own lives, but also where we have found that they have benefited others. And so there's a myriad of books, and we welcome any suggestions. Please reach out to us. We always welcome that. In addition to that, depending on which level that a person joins and becomes a member, if you become a member at the Golden Alchemist level, then what you will get is a deep meditation audio that will run 15 to 20 minutes. And it's a guided meditation that has subliminal affirmations in the background that you can listen to over the course of the 30 days that will support you in the theme of that month. In particular, this month, we're going to be looking at harmony in relationships, harmony in our lives, because we find that that's such a huge foundation in making life so much easier. And that's really what it's about. And so creating that synchronicity at the Golden Alchemist level, you get that deep meditation audio. You also get an extended subliminal that goes for an hour. You get the custom harmony mandala, and the mandala is there, and we found a woman in India who's actually creating these for us specifically for this purpose with the intention each month for the golden seams. By coloring the mandala, you will have the opportunity, if you're listening to the subliminal or just using it to relax, sort of let your mind sort of come to a place of ease. And in addition to that, we're also going to have a contest each month for anyone who wants to submit their colored mandala. Another great place to put your mandala is on your vision board or your mood board, because we found it's very, very powerful because it's infused with your energy plus the Reiki and the amazing woman from India who creates these for us. The Kintsugi Path option, that is the same thing, minus the deep meditation. It includes the subliminal, the mandala, and then, of course, access to all of the things that we'll be discussing and the mastermind memoir.
Yes, we'll also be adding some exclusive audios to the Golden Seams shop that you can find on our Patreon. And they will be supplementing the themes and ideas that we explore as we read the books together. For our first book this month, we're going to be reading The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
By Charlie Mackesy. We,
Yes.
we totally struggled with his last name. I don't know why.
When I read the cursive, I kept reading Mackery and then I couldn't remember which one's right. And I know I was going to say it wrong.
It's such an
Charlie
amazing
Mackesy.
book, and he's such an amazing person. And we're very humbled to even be reading this book. It's so powerful, it's so healing, and we hope that you will love it. I think if I say this, I know Gabe is probably going to completely agree. The audiobook is fantastic.
Oh man,
It's
it's a journey.
right. And it's definitely worth listening to because of just how they've done it, how they've designed it, laid it out, and how he reads it. And it's just beautiful and it's rich. I'm going to push for the audiobook.
We'll be
But
sure to include a link.
yes,
So we chose this book because it's so beautifully written, heart-centered, gentle, and beautiful reminder to appreciate what's around us.
we also chose it because of the message of kindness, which is actually where harmony begins. We feel that we are in desperate need the world over for kindness at this time. Probably always. There's never a time where kindness couldn't be more well used and handy. We just felt like this was such an appropriate book to begin with, and it's such a simple read. You can read it or listen to the audiobook in an hour or less. And yet it has profound messages all throughout that will really soothe your soul. And I think it's a great place to start, especially before as we all head into the holiday season.
It's incredible how deep the book goes with how gentle and soft it treads, the ideas and
Yeah.
the characters. It's awesome.
So, Gabe, how did you first get into reading books and coming about with that?
Well, when I was younger, I went through a short phase where I was interested in some of the books at school, series of unfortunate events, like the Harry Potter books, the fantasy books. And then I took a long break from my independent reading practice. And as life started presenting difficult situations and new experiences that I felt disoriented by, I really started turning to people who had lived through similar or who had other perspectives or tools to offer. And slowly but surely, as I kept reading, I started feeling more and more safe and confident in the direction that I was heading. And it always amazed me how many books I haven't gotten to read and how much I took away from the ones that I did. And the idea of sharing and exploring these ideas in community is something that just thinking about fills me with joy. And I'm very excited to be starting on this path.
I absolutely love that, and I completely agree. I really feel like when you get to read a book, it's like talking to an expert, finding out somebody who really, really zoomed in on an idea or something, and it can take you away. It can give you solutions, and you will always find something valuable from a book. You will always get ahead in your life from reading a book. It will help you expand your mind, think differently, and take you to places that you've never been before. But it also adds to, if you will, the bank in your mind of having wisdom and resources and information to how to handle a situation or recognize something with a different perspective, which
Absolutely.
expands your world every single time. For me, when I wasn't a good reader growing up, to be honest. Gabe and I, we both have ADHD, and it's a pleasure and a pain. I wasn't a good reader as a kid growing up. And then when I went to university, I was in a relationship. I was married and I was in a very abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive relationship. It was very challenging. And I actually started blanking on my exams. Of course, we went to the doctor, couldn't say anything. And the doctor actually said that I needed to go talk to somebody. So that was the recommendation. I ended up going to this counselor, this therapist, and her name was Mary, and she was this amazing woman. Mary, actually, one of the things that my husband said at the time was that I could go to this counselor if it would help me stop blanking on my exams, but I couldn't talk about our marriage. I couldn't talk about our lives. I couldn't talk about him, and I couldn't talk about myself.
Hmm.
So those were the yeah, those were the parameters for me
Wow.
to get someone to talk to. With that, Mary still said, "Okay, I'm going to take you as a client." And I was thinking, "You're kidding me." Okay. But again, I wasn't saying anything. And so the first session, she brought this book out. We read many books. The books that Mary had me read were books, and we would talk about the characters, the people, and the experiences they were having in the books. And it began to create a strength in me, like a pinpoint, a prick, if you will, of light for me to see that it was possible that my life did not have to be this way, that other people had overcome things. They had found a way out or through and come out ahead on top and landed on their feet and they were okay. And that was the biggest thing for me. It was
Wow.
transformative. That is actually when I really began to read and understand the value and the power of books.
Wow. That's amazing. I I think it's incredible too the capacity books have to traverse time and eras. We can have conversations with people who existed and conquered lives in totally different realities than we inhabit today. That commonality of shared experience through, like, the characters are different, but there's so many aspects of the play that's the same throughout all of the different cycles and how much power we can lend to one another through sharing and connecting. And
Books can be hugely empowering. As we go on about this, we hope that you will join us. We hope that you will love this. We hope that you will gain things, find benefit, find solutions, and even find yourself the same way we continue to do so as we travel down this path that we call life and careers and relationships and money and figuring it out because it's a wild ride.
it's always more fun together.
It is always way more fun together. Oh my gosh. It's so accurately, painfully true. This is why we put this together. This is why we've come together. Gabe, do you want to share a little bit about what your endeavors are, future things that you're looking to do, what you're creating, and then I can give a little bit on myself and what I'm doing and kind of how we brought those pieces together.
Yeah. So for the last several years, I've been sitting on a creative egg, so to speak, that I've been nurturing a lot of creative projects. Following the idea of putting pieces together in Kintsugi, I started realizing how fragmented and separated all of my creative projects were. I have some musical projects, artworks that I make, writing, and recently I discovered that they all kind of fall under one umbrella, and I've been putting them together to share with everybody under the name Reminders of Eternity. And I am very excited for everybody to check out the project and see if any of it resonates. I realized along the way as I was collecting and organizing to see what cohesive thread I could weave through all the artwork that anytime I sat down or felt inspired to create, it was this opening between my heart and feeling what it is to be eternal, or exploring that idea, or imagining what it would be like for moments that I don't feel that way. Some of the artworks are theories I'm still working through. But as Michelle and I kept talking, I realized how resonant all of the themes in the books that she had shared with me were to a lot of the states of mind and feelings that I sit in and sit with during the creative process, and how similar that same feeling is to the process of creating my life. As everything comes together, I'm really inspired by the stories that I'm learning about Michelle and her path and the new opportunities to recontextualize and reorganize my own filing cabinet of memories and ideas, and just how powerful integration of pieces of self is, as opposed to discarding them or repression or dismissal of our like aspects of self. And hopefully all these projects will come together in the future so I can hold space for others the way that they've held it for me.
I love that. One of the great things that Gabe is going to do is he's going to design different things each month for the Patreon and for the different levels that people can, when they feel really a theme or an idea or something really resonates with them, that they can actually like buy a coffee mug or a t-shirt or a cap or something, and it'll be infused with his art and what he does and the theme for that month. But you'll know the meaning of it and you'll have that understanding. It's another thing that Gabe is bringing to the table here with everything that we're doing, among so many, I might add. He's such a genius with so many things. He's really downplaying what he does and everything he knows. I think that you'll see that evolve and unfold and just see why Gabe is such a powerhouse here and his thoughts and his ideas and everything he's explored. You know, like a lot of people, he's very humble in displaying that information and who he is. My background is not quite like Gabe's. And mine will be explored more, of course, as we go through this. My background is originally in business and communications and technology, which is hilarious because I feel like a technophobe now. Corporate America, international business, this is where I come from. And then my life sort of morphed and transformed through various things and experiences to where, like always, you get opened up. You either get to open up and you get to embrace, or you get to keep pushing that boulder up the hill and it will probably kill you, in my experience. I'm kidding, but I'm not. As we move forward with things and we share more about ourselves and our lives and our paths, and we look forward to experiencing this with all of you, that gives you a little bit of a background on us and who we are.
And we look forward to walking this path with you and building this community and connecting and learning from the experiences you all have had.
Thank you, everyone. We're excited to have you. Now might be a great time for us to start to jump in and talk about the book.
Thank you. Until next time.